Welcome back to the Andrea Giovino show. And today we have back my good friend Laura Kahn. Hi, Laura.
Hey, how are you?
Good. And what we're going to talk about is being Laura is single and in the dating world, which I'm not. Her experience to a lot of the women out there of what we're actually dealing with. Are we, because there's so much of things that we didn't know about, like let's just say ghosting. What, Laura, can you explain? I've heard this term ghosting. What is ghosting?
It is when you date a person and maybe you go on one or two dates and then they just disappear without an explanation, without anything. And you're texting, hey, how are you? Crickets. Texting and a couple of days later, crickets. So
did the date go well?
I have not been ghosted. But to my friends that have, yeah, like they felt like the date went really well. Like there was a good vibe. There was this, there was that. They went on like 2 or 3 dates.
And I've had someone that, a very good friend of mine, she went out with the person about 4 or 5 times and then she slept with him. He was great. A gentleman, took her out. But once she slept with him, she never heard from him again. She was devastated because she had went out with him like 5 times, and she thought he was really into her, and I thought he was really into her, and he never heard from him again. These are grown-ups. These are like late 50s, 60s. You're still playing games at that age?
Absolutely.
That's insane. Is that ghosting?
Yes, it is.
That's a typical...
That's ghosting, yeah, totally. So to me, and the rule that I live by, and I don't care how old I am, I will not sleep with a man unless I'm like seeing him for a month.
Okay.
I'm old
Good.
school.
Me too.
I'm
That's
old
right.
school.
And that's what you should do because you don't know.
And I tell my friends that all the time. I'm like, because I have one friend and, her attitude is like, well, I just want somebody that I can have fun with. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But that's what you're going to get. So don't get mad when he's not taking you out on dates, when he's not showing up the way you need him to show up. Right. Now, to say that, it's not always a guarantee, but I feel like, listen, as women, we're emotional. So when we sleep with a man, this is most women, we get invested.
Yeah, because women are more emotional than men.
Right. So we get invested a lot quicker than they do. So I say, like, listen, if you want to go and have a one-night stand, knock your socks off. But you have to go in knowing that you may not hear from him again.
Right.
But a lot of women kind of don't get that. And I feel like, too, as we get into our late 40s, 50s-ish, if you're single, women feel like, I don't care, this is all I want from him, da-da-da, okay.
And a lot of women are willing to settle, and they're just willing to get crumbs. So if you throw me crumbs and you take me out for a dinner and you just come over once a week and, we get into it and go to dinner, that's enough. That would never be enough for me.
Yeah.
That's not enough. No.
Agreed.
No, you have to put the investment in the relationship. Like I always felt when I was dating, when I was younger, it's how much they're investing in you. They have to make that investment of time, spending the time, putting the time there, the taking you out and treating you like the lady you should be treated. And I think a lot of women settle. And with the way the internet is now and the dating sites, it's so easy for these men to just do a swipe and they're on to the next woman to come over to their house and get a little attention or whatever.
Agreed. And what I also read, which was so interesting, because I also feel that a lot of men, right, because we hear about this feminine energy among men.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a study that was done, and I don't remember exactly where, but there's a decline in testosterone among men. And that is why you're seeing a lot of men, they want to be treated like they're the prize.
That's very true. I mean, I hear that a lot.
Right.
A lot. But now, I'm old school, so I believe in chivalry.
So do I.
Like, open the car door, send the flowers. Even after you have a great time with the woman on the first date, you send her flowers to tell her thank you. That's the generation I came from.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if you got intimate with the man, even something nicer. Thank you for a beautiful evening, flowers and chocolates. They don't do that today.
No, they don't.
They don't want to do an investment and make the investment in the person.
They don't. And I have recently had an encounter with a gentleman who was in his 50s, and we met through, I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Go
but
ahead.
I said, let me just go on like one of these sites real quick and
Okay.
see. And I was checking it out, and this gentleman, all right, we had communication, we exchanged numbers. I thought because of his age, his background, he was an Italian, you know, I thought it was okay. We were communicating back and forth, okay, and then all of a sudden he fell off. And I was like, I am absolutely not going to reach out and
So
say,
that's ghosting.
yeah, it is.
That
You're
is
right.
ghosting,
That is, I
Laura.
was ghosted.
You were ghosted.
I was
Yes,
ghosted.
that's ghosting.
Yeah. And I wasn't like, I just was like, all right, you could kick rocks. You could kick rocks. And then all of a sudden, he started popping up again and texting and everything like that. And I don't save numbers. So the number comes up and I'm like, and I thought it was actually somebody else.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm driving. I was like, call me. So he called. And then as I
You knew
was
it was
talking,
him.
I realized, hey, what's up? Da da da. So
Is he a professional?
he has a good job.
Okay. 'cause
Yeah.
Because
And then
I would expect that from a street person.
yeah, no. And then we were talking again. We made a plan, and then he texted me at like 5 o'clock. We spoke. He texted me the morning that we were allegedly gonna have a date. And then at 5 o'clock, and I didn't text again. Then at 5 o'clock, he texted something. He had something with his family. Da da da. And I was like, all right, yeah, whatever, bye. So I guess I was ghosted.
That's ghosting.
I was ghosted.
Yes.
But I was like, and I just sat there.
But maybe you didn't want to believe you were ghosted,
No,
Laura.
maybe I'm in denial. But I was like, and you know, I'm like, you know.
And you know what? Just
Cursing him.
by what he did, even with the 5 o'clock, wait until 5 o'clock. That to me,
Unacceptable.
That's unacceptable.
And
I'm
I was-
sorry. That to me, he's a player.
I had this conversation.
He's a player. I'm telling you, that's what players do.
Right. And my thought was,
And
he's
they're always,
either got somebody
he's
else.
got somebody else, and they're out for the chase.
So
it's the chase. It's
Oh,
true.
oh, it's true.
True. It's
So
true.
I told this to my friend, and my friend was like, she was like, no, that's not true. I was like, girl,
No,
listen,
it's true.
You don't. How dare you text me at 5
5 o'clock when you're
and tell
supposed to
me,
go out that night. So he thinks that you're just sitting home waiting for him.
Look, can I do this? This is what I said. I was like. So meanwhile, he was all over my Instagram. He was watching every story. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
Block.
Block.
You're not gonna watch me like that.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation, which
He had his opportunity.
we had a conversation the night before, and I was kind of feeling like maybe that was the reason why we were talking about my ex-husband. My daughter was supposed to do something for my ex. She couldn't do it, so I did the favor for her. For him. And
Okay.
we were having the conversation. So he started asking me all questions about that relationship. And I was very honest. I was like, listen, it's a great relationship. You know, we're amicable.
And
like,
it's nice. It's
it's
nice.
nice.
It makes it easy.
So I don't know if that, you know,
Triggered him?
twisted him, because again, you know, an Italian man, you know, who knows, he's a little insecure.
Yeah.
He can't handle this.
A lot
he
of
can't
guys can't handle that.
So I'm like, get out of here. You know what? I don't need you. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
It's very difficult in today's world for women
Very.
very much to date, because I think you're right. It doesn't matter what age you're at. there's so much opportunity out there because of the dating sites and every different type of dating site, whether it's Christian Mingle, whether it's Silver Foxes, whether it's eHarmony, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's social media.
Social
media.
I feel like
that's the biggest.
I do not entertain any single person that is in the DM.
No, me either. I would never. It's weird. Because the way they're DMing you, they're DMing 100 others, and they say which one takes the bite and the bait. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is.
Exactly what that is. It's
100 others. It's disgusting, and that's why it's very difficult for women today to date, and men. I mean, a lot of them are not looking to be serious. They're just not.
But then, what I think of is that, so then, like, what are you really looking for? Because to me, if you're a man and all you're looking to do is have sex and keep it moving, that's such a sad, lonely life. Like, how much sex can you have with different women? Like, listen, I would love to be a man for one day, just to understand their thought process.
Well, it's funny because I have a lot of guy friends, and one guy said to me that for them is like playing tennis or going to play pickleball or going to play golf.
Yeah.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
It's a sport where women get attached emotionally.
Easy.
Men do not. It's a sport. That's why a lot of men, when they say they have wives or significant others and they go astray, it doesn't mean anything to them. And it doesn't mean anything to them. It truly doesn't mean anything to them. It's just a sport that they like to do.
Yeah.
And we as women that are emotional, because let's face it, most women, I would say, most women can't go to that next level of intimacy without having the emotion for the person.
Right.
So for them to lay their head down on that pillow, they have to have that emotion of some type of connection there.
Absolutely.
A really, really strong like or a beginning of a love. Because women don't just do that. Or they think, a lot of young women think, well, if I do that, then he's going to really care about me or love me. No, they just go on to the next one. And like the guy that he just ghosted you.
He ghosted me.
Yeah.
He did, Andrea.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
But
I
you know
wasn't
what?
even sweating it.
It's no great loss.
No, I wasn't even sweating it. Like, I was like, you're not even that cute.
No great loss. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, you know. But
I always say, and I've always said, men are like buses. You miss one and you catch the next bus.
Right,
and
unless
that's it.
you get trauma bonded. Then you're dead in the
trauma
water.
bonding is the worst.
Then you're dead in the water.
Trauma bonding is the worst pathological. They are the pathological narcissistic sociopaths. Those are the worst. The ones that love bomb. Because they put all of that effort into love bombing.
Just to get you.
Just to get the person to then abuse them. But to then abuse them.
Right. And then, for me, that I have been trauma bonded, I had no idea, what was happening, because it was it's literally one day you're on this high, right? The dopamine, everything is great. Oh my God, da-da. And then next day, it's literally you crash. They're breaking up with you. Oh my God, da-da, da-da.
And then somebody else.
Then,
They always have somebody in the background waiting for them. That's what trauma bonding, they get you to that point of where you kind of lose yourself into them.
100%.
You lose yourself, you lose your being into them. You give them all of you. You never believe or you never think this guy is going to do this to me because he adores me. He loves me. I'm his everything. He told me he never felt like this before. And then boom.
Then
the bomb hits you.
Yeah. And then you're like, but I don't understand.
But then you're
what
laying in
happened.
bed at night questioning your own self. What did I do? Was it me? It makes you question your sanity.
Right. Right. And I think that they're really like, if you go on social media, but I feel like some of the stuff that is out there is kind of textbook.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, because I know when I was going through it and I was like researching, I was like, well, one situation I was in, he's not telling me he loves me. He's not telling me that he wants to get married. He wasn't saying that.
Yeah, he wants a committed. Did he say he wants?
No. But what he was telling me was the sex was the best. He didn't start out with the sex was the best he ever had. What he started to say was he was putting me in like a category. And I would be like rolling my eyes at him. Because even though I was in it, there was still like this part of me, this sane part of me that was like, I don't believe a fucking word.
That's okay.
I don't believe a word this man is saying. But
then you could sense that, and you should go by your instincts.
And I say that all the time. If your gut is telling you, you gotta
go
honor
with it.
that.
Yes, you have
because
to
it
go
will
with
never
it.
lie.
It's very difficult. I speak to a lot of women on those issues of, unless we never understood what narcissist was, and we would just say they were cheaters.
Yeah.
But the narcissistic person, there's so many of them out there. And there are so many red flags.
So many red flags.
So many red flags to look for.
There really are. I mean, for me, I think one situation that I was in, the person that I was involved with, like, his background was a little sketchy, but I was like, all right. And then he was like, I want to be exclusive with you. And I kind of...
Okay, so that's kind of like a commitment.
Right?
Yeah,
that was,
I
right.
want to be exclusive is a commitment.
And then I looked at him and I was like, are you sure? And what I should have done at that moment is I should have just been like, I'm not ready for that. I should have taken control of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't. And I learned that that's something that in relationships, I kind of let the man lead a lot instead of just saying like, no, that doesn't work for me. I'm good just seeing you and blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that comes from a lot of times we want so much to feel loved and feel connected and have someone there to be there for us.
Absolutely.
Not to take care of us even financially, but just to take care of us as a woman and be there and have a partner, a significant other. And we crave that so much that when someone says these things, we like jump at it when you should say, and remember to guard yourself.
Right.
I'm not ready to go there yet.
Right.
Because you need to give time. You need to learn what he's about. You know, can I trust him? How much is he going to invest in me? And then a lot of times they'll invest in you and they'll still disappoint you.
Absolutely. But then I feel like it goes back to just, right, because I feel like there's just this where you're like, sometimes it's can be just human nature. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I walk into every situation, whether it's friends or relationships, because let's also talk about friendships that are narcissistic.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I've had friends that I believe were a little narcissistic that
It's all about them.
May have been friends with me for what I brought into the table and things like that. So I feel like when it's a friend, it can be a little easier to cut off because when you're intimate with a man, there's that bond.
It's the bond.
And then you're screwed. But with a friendship,
there's no intimacy there.
Right.
You didn't really take a whole piece of me, where when it's a man, they take a piece of you.
Absolutely.
And I think
a little more difficult.
that's much, it's very difficult to do that. But I think that there's more and more awareness out there today than there ever was.
Agreed.
Women are talking about it, whether it's male or female.
Yeah.
We're getting more and more educated on it. you know, it's being brought to the forefront. You know, we're exposing what it is and looking for the signs and the red flags, and guarding and protecting ourselves of
Right.
what dating should really be. Like I said, it should, if I were to date today, it would have to be, he has to make an investment, an investment with his time, and giving time, not jumping right into the bed. When they start investing in that, showing me part of who you are, your family, your friends, how people view him. Like, I would sit back and just view him and what his relationships are and what his life is about.
Yeah.
You know, so you could really understand. A lot of them that, let's face it, most people in our age group have baggage and were remarried. So if they don't have a good relationship with their ex, there's a problem there. Like, what's normal is you have a good relationship with your ex. That's normal. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. I don't have that because my ex made so many lies about me. He told so many lies of the women he goes with that it's me, that I'm this bad person. I was sleeping around. It was all opposite. So, I mean, Laura, can you see me? I mean,
No,
like, it's insane.
No, but you know, but that's hate. He's a hater.
He's a hater
He's just
to
a
make
hate-
lies about me like that.
He's a jealous hater.
A jealous
You're
hater.
shining. Like, you went on, you succeeded. Like, you, and what is he gonna do? I don't know where or what his life is like now, but I'm sure it's garbage. I'm sure he's a miserable man. If he's still bouncing from relationship
Yes.
to relationship, like, what are you doing?
What are you doing at this age? And that, it's like a hater. I raised your children. You know, I did everything I was supposed to do as a wife, as a mom, and you're bashing me? You know, the smear campaign. That's the smear campaign.
Right.
It always goes back to the smear campaign.
I have right, so I have a friend and she has a gentleman that's in her circumference and he is going through a bad breakup. He had a kid with this woman and he's telling my friend, "Oh, she was crazy. She was crazy." And my friend is like on the bandwagon. And
Oh, no.
I don't agree with that. To me, that's a red flag.
Yes, that's a red flag.
If you're caught, what did you do that made her crazy?
Exactly.
Now
Exactly.
listen, I'm not saying everybody's perfect because maybe she was a little off.
No, but what did
Come
you
on,
do?
man.
What did you do?
You come on, like
That's what my ex said about me to the woman he was involved with. He said all lies about me, that I was crazy. I was in love with him. I'm the one that divorced him and threw him out. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind?
right. Well, like I said, I feel that with all of these things, you know, what we're doing today and you know, different social media
And the project I'm
platforms.
trying to get off the ground
Yeah,
with
that's
the
gonna be
series. That's
big.
going to be big. You know, to bring that out and have women tell their stories
Just everyday
on a major
stories.
network.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's what needs to be brought. They need narcissists need to be exposed.
I almost feel like it's an epidemic.
I do too.
Like I've heard just
But I
so
like
many
what you said
stories.
earlier, and it's very true. A lot of the men want to be treated like they're the prize, that you got to cater to me, I'm the king. Where I grew up in an era, you're supposed to make her feel like the queen.
Listen, I remember growing up, right? Wherever we would go, whenever we would go out, no matter where we went, as soon as we walk into the establishment, restaurant, bars,
Yes.
clubs, these guys, what do you want?
Yes.
And you know what?
Yes.
Maybe
What are you drinking?
You having dinner tonight?
Yeah.
I got the bill.
Right.
And
They don't do that no more.
they don't. And maybe the intention was to sleep with you.
Right.
But even if they didn't,
It was okay.
now today,
No, they're
And-
not spending anything unless you're going into the bedroom with them.
and I'm not used to that.
No.
Like I walk into a place, I'm expecting, you know, you gotta buy me a drink at minimum. You know, and when I tell people this, they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, but that's how we grew up.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's
That's how we grew up.
but today they're not like that at all.
No. So, fortunately, we can get it you know, exposed, and that's what everybody's doing and bringing it to the forefront. And it was lovely having you on today.
Thank you. It's great being here as always. Yes.
And thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned. Press that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Bye.
That was good.
That was so good.